the rules of Naziris have to apply. A Nazir is not allowed to defile himself, to make himself Tomei. So you had, that was called eating chulin al taharas hakodesh. They would give the severity of kodesh, of the food in the Beis Hamikdash, the food of the korbanos. They would treat the ordinary food that they ate in their home with the same severity. So that kodshim, there's a halacha, you cannot make tomei kodshim. You're not allowed to be matame kodshim. Food from the mizbeach had to be tohor. So the person had to be tohor. And all the laws of ritual purity, which today we no longer observe because of the fact that we don't have a Beis Hamikdash and we don't have the Parah Aduma and all the other things, but in the time of the Tanakh, they were observed. So he told her that not only can't you drink wine and you can't drink any intoxicating liquor, but you also shall not eat things that are not kept to the standard of, the highest standard of Tahara, of purity. Ki hina hara, behold, you are going to conceive. It's here. The Oladet Bain, and you will give birth to a son. You are prepared already. In heaven they're ready. Because that's in the Gemara says that in heaven there's a malach. Everybody has a malach, right? The malach gets everything ready. So when it's done in heaven, even though it didn't happen on earth, it's done already. Umora lo yale al rosho, and scissors, a razor shall not be raised against his head, meaning his hair shall not be shorn. Ki nazir alakim ya'anar min aboten. This child is set aside to be a nazir of God, min aboten, from the moment that he is conceived in your womb. And he is set aside for a great purpose. Because he will, the word here, yochel, means to begin, but it has another meaning as well. It's almost like he will give birth. The Yeshua of the Jewish people, chil kayoleda, the pangs of childbirth, the salvation of the Jewish people is born with him. And he will be the one that will lift the morale of the Jewish people and make it possible, as eventually happens, that the Jewish people do eliminate the Plishtim, but it will take centuries. We don't have time, unfortunately. We are restricted by the limitations of our mortal life. So we don't have time. But in history, and in God's plan of history, there always is time. So he's just the beginning. He is just the beginning. He is the one who will start the ball rolling for the triumph of the Jewish people over their enemies. Now, that's quite a prophecy, right? For the lady to get in the middle of the day, and she's not ready for it. So he's got, like, I mean, it's wild that not only is she going to give birth to a child, but that this child is going to be the one that's going to save the Jewish people from the hands of the Plishtim. The Plishtim are running the place. The Jewish people have no arms. They have no strength. They have no unity. They are downtrodden. They're paying tribute to the Philistines, and he tells her that she's going to have a son, and her son single-handedly will see to it that the triumph against the Plishtim will begin to be realized. So the woman told her husband. She ran to her husband to tell him. He didn't appear to the husband. It's interesting, the Chazal in the Medrash and the Talmud, Manoach does not get too good a press. They don't say, he doesn't appear to be, she's the lady here. I mean, she's the whole show. He's mentioned here. But the Gemara says that he was not a scholar and that he was not, he was not We don't see any special wisdom in him here either, because we'll see his response to the Malach. Again, unlikely heroes, unlikely people that God has chosen. I don't want to be misunderstood, but I'm certain I will be, so maybe I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. That, for instance, the person who had the strongest influence on the Jewish people in the last 250 years was Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, who was himself an unlikely hero, and his parents were very unlikely people to have. And that part of the resistance to Chassidus was that it can't be him, and it can't be from them. And nevertheless, look what happened. The interesting thing about the Baal Shem Tov is that today he couldn't be a Rebbe, which is what always happens, right? God fixes it around, right? He today, because he's not descended from Rebbes, and he wouldn't, the whole thing, the whole package is not marketable today. It's not merchandisable today. But but when God wants, then that's what happens, and that happens over and over and over again. And that's part of the fallacy in prejudging God. God does not perform to our standards and our definition. Part of the problem with how we deal with the state of Israel, and I don't know how to deal with it, but part of the problem is, how can it be that these people should be the people whom God has chosen to do something important with? I have no answer to that. I really have no answer to that. Because everything about it flies in the face of Jewish tradition and of Jewish history and of how, if we were writing the script, it should be done. And therefore, there is a section of the Jewish people, and not an insignificant section, an important section in terms of numbers, and certainly in terms of thought, and in terms of Torah, that says, well, then it can't be. Because if this is the way it is, then it can't be. I mean, if these are the people, and these are the founders, and it just can't be. I don't know. I don't know. I certainly am not able to judge, but there's a piece in me that says that it can be, because of the fact that, that God likes to do things like that. All the Jewish history is unlikely. You go through the heroes, right? David HaMelech, he's coming from Rus, and he's the youngest, and that's not the king, right? Shmuel said that's not the king. Can't be. Right? And God says, yeah, that's the one. He's the one I want. The other 6 guys are sitting learning, and he's the shepherd. Yeah, that's the guy I want, right? He's David Melech Israel, he's the Melech Mashiach, he's going to write Tehillim. What? Shmuel doesn't see it in him. And over and over and over again, it happens, countless times. Hillel is the man to save the Jewish people. He hasn't, he's freezing to death on a skylight. He hasn't got 50 cents to his name. He's a wood chopper. Rabbi Akiva comes from Gerim. Rabbi Meir comes. Where did all these people fall in? Who needs them? Where are they? We wouldn't, they couldn't get a job by us. They couldn't teach 6th grade by us. We wouldn't want our children to play with them. God sticks it to us. He always does. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in the Tanakh. I know what's going on now. I know, I have no idea. I'm just, I can only tell you what it says. More than that I can't do. But doesn't it ever bother you? There's a few things that bother me. When I stop thinking about the bank, so then I think about other things. So there are a few things that bother me, right? And I don't know, Pshat. I don't know how that works.
Well, how does history judge women prophets like the Lord?
I don't know, how does history judge women prophets, right? We don't say anything about it. There are 7 prophetesses that are mentioned in the Talmud. I mean, if Devorah came today, I don't know, what would we do with her? How would we deal with it? I don't know. Listen, I mean, Esther is the very unlikely heroine, right? I mean, if you think about it, right? She's married to, she's married to a goy, and was for a goy noch, I mean, she's, So it's just, again, I'm not here to be I'm not a revisionist thinker. I'm just pointing out to you that in the whole scope of Jewish history, in the whole thousands of years, a lot of unlikely events and a lot of unlikely people are the people that play the main roles in the events that occur. And nothing goes according to plan. Okay, you got a 5-year plan, nothing goes according to plan. And you never know who's who, right? You mamish, without a scorecard, you can't tell the players. And it's just, just a strange world. And it will probably continue to be a strange world. That's the fallacy of reading the New York Times, taking it too seriously. The only thing in the New York Times to be taken seriously are the obituaries and the sports section. But the rest of it is pure conjecture. So vatovo isho vatomer liisho leimor. So the woman came and spoke to her husband and said, "Isho elakim bo elai." She didn't even know it was an angel. She said, a prophet came to me. Isho elakim is a prophet. Prophet came to me, but he looked like a prophet. He's a simple woman. Mareu Kamara Malach Elokim, but he looks like an angel. Awesome visage, frightening countenance. No Ramod, very frightening. I'm terror-stricken from it. I don't know who he was. And now she recounts the story to him, and she says, strange thing, lo shil tiyu amy zehu. I didn't ask him, who is he, where'd you come from? A man shows up in my kitchen. I didn't ask him anything. Veshmo lo higidli, and he didn't tell me anything either. He didn't tell me a name, nothing. Frightening apparition. And he told me, Vayomer li hinochora v'yoladet bein, you're going to conceive, and you're going to give birth to a son. V'ato al tishti yain v'sheichor v'al tochli kol tuma, don't drink wine, don't drink beer, and don't eat things that are unclean. Ki nazir elakim ye'anar min abeten ad yom moso. She added those words. Till the day of his death, he's going to be a nazir. So in the Gemara characterizes there are two types of Naziris. There's the ordinary type of Naziris, which is a 30-day obligation. That's a regular Nazir. That's for 30 days. And then there's someone who's called Nazir Shimshon. That's a lifetime Naziris. The Shimshon was his entire lifetime he was a Nazir. So a person, if he wishes to take the vow, can take a lifetime vow of Naziris. There's a difference of opinion as to whether in our time, but apparently there are those who feel that even in our time there's a vow of Naziris, or at least partial Naziris. There was a famous rabbi in Yerushalayim, passed away about 10 years ago or 12 years ago, who was one of the fascinating people. He was a Kohen. He was a professor in a university in Switzerland. When Rav Kook came to Switzerland in 1916, in the middle of the war, Rav Kook had left Palestine before the war to attend the Knessia Gedola of the Agudas Yisrael, which was called, right